Imagine placing a bet. In one corner, you have a $250,000 debt for a piece of paper that might be irrelevant in 4 years. In the other, you have equity in an idea you control, something you can build, pivot, and grow. For decades, we've been told the first option, the massive student loan, was the safe bet. But the numbers in 2025 are telling a brutally different story. We've hit a tipping point where the riskiest financial move a young person can make isn't starting a company, it's taking on massive educational debt. The safe path now requires a dangerous set of beliefs, that entire industries won't be disrupted, that your skills won't become obsolete, and that you'll somehow out-earn debt that compounds with terrifying speed. But what if the game has fundamentally changed? What if the real safety isn't in climbing a ladder, but in building your own? Let's break down the math. The average federal student loan debt is now around $39,075 per borrower. But for those pursuing graduate degrees like law or medicine, that number can easily soar to $140,000 or even $200,000. This isn't just a number, it's a gravitational force pulling down on your life choices for the next 20 years. It dictates where you can live, what jobs you can afford to take, and how much risk you can tolerate. Now, consider startup equity. The common refrain is that most startups fail, and that's true. Historically, 9 out of 10 startups don't make it. But this statistic is often misunderstood. A failed startup isn't a zero-sum game. The founder walks away with a real-world MBA in product development, marketing, sales, and resilience. They build a network of contacts and a portfolio of practical skills that are increasingly valuable in a rapidly changing job market. The student with the massive debt, however, is on a treadmill. Their degree's value is depreciating from the moment they graduate, while their debt is appreciating. It's a financial trap disguised as a golden ticket. And this is just the beginning of how the idea of career safety has been turned on its head. For our parents' generation, a job at a big company was a ticket to stability. But in today's world, that stability is a dangerous illusion. The half-life of skills has shrunk dramatically. What you learned in college is likely to be outdated in just a few years. This has created a brutal reality. Job security died the moment skills became less durable than careers. Look at the tech industry, once seen as the pinnacle of secure, high-paying jobs. In 2023 and 2024, we saw massive layoffs with hundreds of thousands of highly skilled workers losing their jobs. These weren't underperformers, they were talented people caught in the crossfire of corporate decision-making. When you're an employee, your entire livelihood is a bet on decisions made by executives you've probably never met. A vice president looking to right-size a department or a board choosing to pivot can wipe out your income stream overnight. You are, in essence, an entry in an accounting ledger. An entrepreneur, on the other hand, might fail, but they fail forward. They own their failures and, in doing so, gain invaluable experience. They learn to adapt, to pivot, to build something from nothing. These are the very skills that make them antifragile in a volatile world. And that leads to a surprising inversion in the hierarchy of risk. For the first time in modern history, we are witnessing a complete inversion of the career risk hierarchy. Statistically, founding a company is becoming a safer bet than climbing the corporate ladder. While those massive tech layoffs were making headlines, a new generation of entrepreneurs was quietly building lasting value, and more importantly, professional freedom. The reason for this shift is simple. Entrepreneurs own their failure modes. Employees do not. When you are in control of the variables, you can manage the risk. You can see the storm clouds gathering and change course. You can adapt your product to a changing market. An employee, however, is often blissfully unaware until the moment the ship starts taking on water. This isn't just a philosophical argument, it's a practical reality. The corporate world is increasingly unpredictable. Mergers, acquisitions, and technological disruptions can render entire departments obsolete in the blink of an eye. The entrepreneur, while facing their own set of challenges, is at least in the driver's seat. And the path to becoming an entrepreneur has never been more accessible. The idea that entrepreneurship is only for the privileged few is an outdated relic. The tools to become a creator, a builder, a founder have been demonetized and democratized. You can learn to code on a variety of online platforms. A world-class education in marketing, sales, and finance is available for free on YouTube. The classic statistic that only 1 in 10 venture-backed startups succeed is also becoming less relevant. Why? Because the very definition of a startup is expanding. You don't need millions in venture capital to launch a successful e-commerce business, a thriving freelance consultancy, or a profitable digital product. And let's talk about where the smart money is going. In 2025, we are seeing a tidal wave of investment into artificial intelligence, with projections of over $1 billion a day being poured into the field. This is the new frontier, the arena of explosive growth, while many traditional industries are contracting. As an aspiring professional, where would you rather place your bets? On the shrinking map of the old world, or the expanding territory of the new? This leads to the ultimate strategy for career safety in the modern era. The smartest way to build a career in 2025 is to think like an investor and seek out asymmetric opportunities, those with limited downside and unlimited upside. The new safe career path isn't a binary choice between employment and entrepreneurship. It's about creating multiple antifragile income streams. This means building a system where a failure in one area doesn't just not bankrupt you, it actually strengthens your position in others. This could look like consulting while you build a software product, or freelancing while you scale a service-based business. Some research has shown that entrepreneurs who start their ventures while still employed have a 33% lower chance of failure. By diversifying your income, you protect yourself from the volatility of any single path. If a client project ends, you still have your product sales. If the market for your product shifts, your consulting skills are still in demand. You are no longer dependent on a single employer or a single business idea. You are building a resilient ecosystem of value creation. The world of work has undergone a seismic shift. The old promises of security tied to a single employer have been broken. The new safety net isn't found in a pension plan or a corporate title. It's forged in your ability to build, to create, and to own your destiny. The perceived risk of entrepreneurship is at an all-time high in the public imagination, but the actual, calculated risk has never been lower. The tools are accessible, the knowledge is free, and the opportunities in emerging fields like AI are boundless. The entrepreneurs who will define the next decade are the ones starting now, precisely because it feels risky to the rest of the world. They see the inversion that others miss. They understand that the only true career security lies in the ownership of your skills, your ideas, and your future. The safety you're searching for is real, but it's not something you'll be given. It's something you have to build. Thanks for watching! If you found this perspective on career safety valuable, consider subscribing for more insights into the future of work and innovation.